Nothing's off your cup. Nothing's off your cup. Nothing's off your cup.
Into the Black Dragon and listen to his knowledge. This is Michael 101, and he's professor to the college. Posting up videos on YouTube, coming directly to you, showing you the ins and outs of what not to do. Truly a breed apart. Subscribe to his channel. Some try their best, but they don't match his can. Don't believe me, it's cool. Tune in and hear him on truth. He's straight schooling you. His bits are the proof. He's filled with desire. He's filled with respect. He's filled with the fire. He always comes correct. Was 5 years to prospect. He didn't care about his label, and now he runs the Black Sabbath. Set in stone is his fable.
Black Sabbath forever, Black Sabbath.
Thanks for tuning in and get skinny.
Hey, welcome aboard. Welcome. We want to thank you for tuning into our, our 8th podcast. We started in December, and this is the Dragon's Lair. Motorcycle Chaos. The Dragon's Lair, Motorcycle Chaos. And we are definitely getting down. Thank you for tuning in. I'm Black Dragon, host of Black Dragon Biker TV over on YouTube. The number one YouTube motorcycle protocol channel. And I also have Black Dragon Biker News Network, Biker News You Can Trust, where we go over some of the news through the week that's happening in the motorcycle set. Now, I'm going to have to ask you early on, I'm trying to recover from a cold, so I break off into these coughing spells, and I'm going to try not to cough all over you and infect you, through the airways. I'm going to try not to virtually infect you if I can help it. So I just want to thank you guys for tuning in, and we now have had 5,000 downloads. 5,000. And wow, that just feels really cool to go from 0 downloads to 5,000 downloads. It's just a blessing. And I can't wait till we get to 500,000 downloads. I'm going to be so excited when that day comes. So, I wanted to take some time briefly. I think we're going to be on Hollywood's channel with this, and Hollywood has been kind enough to extend us some time on his Motorcycle Madhouse, and we definitely appreciate that. So, I wanted to take some time to do a brief discussion that has to do with an email that I got from one of my listeners, who I believe is overseas. I think he might. This listener might be over in. I forget where he told me he was. I think it might be Serbia or something like that. But I wanted to get to his question. He said, I do need to ask you a question, Black Dragon, on Patchovers. My chapter is the mother chapter for my region, and one of the chapter presidents from my region has approached me to help him with information about Patchovers and how they work, as they are not like a new chapter starting up. I'm sure you have handled your fair share of Patchovers, and I have. This chapter came across with their own bank account and funds, etc. The difficulty this president has had is he has said that his chapter has been treated like a brand new chapter instead of an existing chapter that's patching over. And so he feels like they're being treated more like a brand new chapter that's just opened up and not like an existing chapter like mine. So what the chapter president has asked me to do is help him to draw up some guidelines, documents, so that we can submit to our National Executive Council to hopefully adopt this document for patchovers and for patchovers of chapters. Please, can you help me with any advice you have on this matter? And so I told him, yeah, I'll make a quick video about this, but I decided I would try it out as a podcast. since podcasting is our new platform. So I've entitled this video or this audio, I'm going to entitle it something like Patchovers for 99%ers. And the first thing I want to talk about is the difference between a patchover and a club flip, because a lot of people say club flip, but if you're a 99%er, you ain't flipping clubs. Clubs are thought if you're a mom and pop club, or if you're a national organization and one club decides to be, change over and come into your club, we don't really look at that as a club flip. Club flips can be like a hostile takeover in a corporate place. Club flips don't always happen because the people want to have their club flipped. So 99%ers don't really have the ability to do that in most cases. So for 99%ers, we talk in terms of patchovers because it's normally a weaker club or an older club or a club that's looking to expand. Like I get a lot of patchovers into the Black Sabbath Motorcycle Club Nation. I've done quite a bit of that, and a lot of times it's clubs want to get to a different level. They like what they've got going on, but then they see us riding all across the country and having fun from state to state, and they'll give us a call and they'll say, Black Dragon, we want to join a bigger brotherhood. We want a bigger family. We want our family to be beyond the borders of our little city or our little town. And so they'll say, what can we do to be down? How can we be Black Sabbath? How can we enjoy a national brotherhood, soon to be international brotherhood, I hope, and family and extended family and sisterhood? How can we have that? And so we can entertain the conversation of a patchover. And a patchover is when your club patches over to our club. Now, we've had to patch over clubs for various reasons. Like one time there was a club that ran into serious problems with a 1% nation in South Georgia. And so basically they were told they were not going to be able to exist anymore. So they came to us and asked us if we could patch them over into our club, and we made that happen. And it was very tenuous because the 1%er nation didn't like the folks, even though they weren't going to be wearing that patch anymore. It was the same folks. So we had to work that situation out, and they patched over and became part of the Black Sabbath Nation. They became one of our most successful chapters. So there are a lot of reasons that a patchover can occur. One, a motorcycle club wants to get bigger and expand, and it's sometimes it's easier to join a winning team. It's easier to join a team that's up and running, and a team that's doing its thing, and you just become an addition to that team. So patchovers come with inherent problems, and patchovers can have things that are really great. You can have problems and you can have great things. So by the nature of patchovers, let's define a patchover. A patchover is when one motorcycle club puts down its patches, puts down its identity, retires itself, and is born again into a new motorcycle club, into one that's already existing. So you leave your MC and you join another. And a patchover is generally thought of as 5 or more members that are coming from a particular MC. And with a patchover, you don't have to do things like prospect. You can just, one day you are the blah, blah, blah MC, and the next day you're the Black Sabbath, part of the mighty Black Sabbath Motorcycle Club Nation. That's how that goes. Just one day you're that and there can be some things like a patchover can have all the elements you might want to have in it. Like, for instance, there can be a training period that you institute, that there could be some qualifications that they have to meet before you actually patch them over. All these things can be negotiated. But they're going to be dropping their bylaws and picking up your bylaws, and they're going to become your club brothers. So if you have 5 or more people from a motorcycle club, Sorry about that. If you have 5 or more people from a motorcycle club, and I'm struggling here to not cough, and they want to patch over into your motorcycle club, that's considered a patchover. And there are some things to be aware of. There are some pitfalls. Like, you can patch a motorcycle club chapter. Let's say you're both in Atlanta. You could patch that club over into your Atlanta patch. Or if they were in, let's say they were in Rome, Georgia, you can patch them over as the Rome, Georgia chapter. When you patch a group of people into your motorcycle club, like into your chapter, let's say you patched over 20 guys, you patch over a voting block. And sometimes people have a whole bunch of trouble going on in their motorcycle club. And they can patch over into your motorcycle club and bring that same trouble with them. Bring that same garbage with them. And you can lose a whole motorcycle club or a whole chapter to some idiots that you patched in. And that can be particularly disturbing. Just imagine losing an entire chapter to a new voting block. So one thing you have to be careful about when you're patching people over into your motorcycle club is there's so many motorcycle clubs are so concerned with growth. And they're not as concerned with quality. So one of the biggest things you got to think about when you want to patch a motorcycle club over is, do they fit your motorcycle club culture? Corporate culture, we call it in the business world, motorcycle club culture. Do they fit your culture? If you're patching over a club that's in trouble or that's falling apart or all the members are breaking up. One time we had an opportunity down in South Georgia. A motorcycle club broke from its founder. There was a big war, and the founder basically took his patch and his copyright, his trademark, and he went home and left the club stranded. So we had an opportunity to get that club, and they had been told by the dominants in that area, you can bring any club in, and you can bring any club in the city you want that you want to be part of. So, that's another kind of a way that a patchover can grow your club or bring another club into existence, into your organization. But in a situation where sometimes you might have a club fallout, you might have half of a club that decides we want to go somewhere else, do something else, and they've got a big internal war going over. And a lot of times when you get a story, you only get half the story, and the guys that are patching over are telling you how bad the other guys are. You only need 5 of those guys, and you can patch them over into your chapter. But let's say you brought 20, or I've seen a club bring over 100. And those people came with the same garbage they had going on in their own motorcycle club. And they brought that garbage to the new club. Within the first election cycle, all of the people that were in office were gone. The club lost its identity. It picked up the identity of the previous club that it had absorbed. And before long, there was a major club split. So you had a big, wonderful, beautiful club that was doing well that brought in a whole bunch of garbage. And that happens. That's something you have to be aware of. So when you're thinking about a patchover, you have to make sure these people meet with your motorcycle club culture. And the only way to do that is spend time with people. And people are always going to send their best representatives. You never really know who a person is until you spend time with them. And people can be very good at masking who they are. A guy can be married to a woman and mask who he is for 30 years. She never knows he has a second family across town or in another city, another state. Whole new family, whole new children she never knew. He sent his best representative, the best representative of who he was. So getting to know people is not an easy thing. Getting to know people is quite difficult. but you have to get to know them. You should get to know them before you patch them over. If you're talking about a motorcycle club nation, you're patching in a voting chapter. Now, I've seen people do interesting things, like we'll patch you over, but you can't vote for a year. Or you can't vote until this probationary process, things like that. These things they do to try to keep from losing their club culture. So that's an important thing to think about. The other thing you got to think about when you patch somebody over is if you're patching them over as a chapter, sometimes they want to come over with all their officers and everything intact. And are these guys the kind of people you want running the chapter? Maybe the chapter needs a new election when they cross over and patch over into your club. Maybe they patch over and they have a new election. And if you suggest such a thing like that, a lot of times the leader won't want to patch over. So you can kind of test and see where they're coming from, how badly they want to make a change, and are you getting good apples or bad apples? And there should be a way to unpatch. When you do your patch over, there should be a way that you can say, this didn't really work, and I want my patches back, and you guys go home. So think about that in your negotiations to patch over. The other thing that you want to think about is how are you going to treat this club that's coming in? And in the course of this letter, they were upset because they didn't feel like they had been treated with the respect of a existing chapter. And in motorcycle clubs, everything is about respect. And sometimes a motorcycle club can feel like, well, you guys patched over to us, so you're beholden to us in some kind of way. And that is something that you want to steer away from. So if you're bringing the president over, treat him like a president. If you're bringing him into your chapter, then he's not the president. You are, and you got to get that understanding. Understand you were running everything over there, but you're now patching over into our chapter, and this is the structure here. And everybody's got to be on the same page with that. Now, if you're patching over a chapter to be their own chapter, now you're bringing people into the fold of your motorcycle club. So they have to know your bylaws. You have to get that stuff established before they come. If they have their own bank accounts and things like that, how does your club do it? How does your nation do it? Do you have a corporate bank account? Whose names are on the bank account? Please forgive me for that. Wow. Somehow I've got this coughing spell all of a sudden. Whose name is on the bank account? How that's going to be done? All these things need to be written out. For instance, in my motorcycle club, no one person can write or cash a check. But maybe in that motorcycle club, the president had handled the money. In my motorcycle club, a president can't handle any money. He can't even touch any money. So you have to get that worked out because they have a different corporate culture than you have. So one of the things you got to think about in your checklist is, how do I ensure that this person, that this club understands how we do business? And that can only be handled through a conversation and a checklist. We want to make sure you understand that clubhouses are not in any individual's name. So that clubhouse that you have over there is going to have to come into the club's name. Well, that could be a problem. I own this club. I'm not willing to do that. I've seen that before. So maybe we have to get a new clubhouse, because we won't have a Black Sabbath motorcycle club in a clubhouse that's owned by John Bunch. We don't do that. And we're not bringing you into our nation looking like that. But if you don't discuss that, you can't pop it on the guys now that you find out about it 6 months later because you didn't do any due diligence. It's like buying a house. Patching over a club is like buying a house. You need to go through that club. You need to go through their books. You need to go through their finances. You need to go through their minutes. and see that they ran their motorcycle club like the corporate or the like the MC culture of your motorcycle club. And if they're not, you've got to train them up to your standard. See if they can get to your standard. See if they can adopt your standards, or you got to let them go. This is how you prevent trouble down the line. So you want to see what kind of folks these are. You want to see how they're running their club business. Are they taking meetings? Are they having proper elections and election cycles and how these things are done? And you got to get them up to your speed, or you got to come up to their speed. They may be doing things far better than you are. So you don't want to degrade them. You want to come up to their to their level. So the other thing you want to make sure is when you do a patchover, you get all of the, well, like if you're going to patch over from a nation, a motorcycle club nation, there's another issue you can have. You have to make sure, because a lot of times there's animosity in a patchover. One set of individuals is leaving another set of individuals, and there can be an animosity. One club we patched over, the chapter was fighting with the mother chapter, and they split. So we had to work out this issue with the national president, and his biggest thing was, we want all of our stuff back. We want all the T-shirts. We want all the stickers off the motorcycles. It can't say XYZ MC Nation. We'll go along with the patchover, but they ain't keeping nothing. And we agreed with that. But there was one item in particular that the national president was looking for. And I didn't realize that. One of the guys had a patch made completely out of leather. These were guys, they didn't have leather patches, and this guy had a special patch made out of leather. And a lot of people wanted that patch. So when they were talking about the patchover, they weren't really talking about all the items. Really, several of these guys in his motorcycle club, his previous chapter, his previous club, they had one thing in mind, and this was this one set of patches that were made completely out of leather. They were very expensive, cost $500-600, and a lot of the folks wanted that patch. A lot of the older guys and the national guys, they were going to fight over that patch and get it. One of those guys was going to get that patch. And they had offered to get the patch from this guy before, but he wanted to be paid for it. And it was a lot of money. So now with that chapter patching over, now they knew they could get that patch for free. Now, I had I knew nothing. I wasn't a part of their club. I didn't know a damn thing about this patch. So we made this agreement, and we made sure to tell them, okay, you guys, part of the agreement was that we turn over everything. So I want to make sure we have an accounting of everything. Well, this one guy turned over everything except that patch. He wanted to put that patch in a shadow box. And because he paid so much money for it. And when everything was done and everything was turned over, I mean, immediately they came back in a warlike posture, sending several of their nomads down to jump on us. And I was like, oh my gosh, what on earth has exacerbated, what has caused this? And it's because they didn't see that patch. We told you guys, and we knew you were going to mess it up. And so as an MC on our side, we were completely exposed to this very aggressive posture that we were going to have to handle in a defensive way. All because one guy kept a set of colors that he was no longer had the right to keep. So that's something that you gotta you got to make sure that you get settled with the club you're patching over, especially if you're patching them over from another nation. We're not going to patch you over until you have turned in everything from the other club, and we get a sign off from them that they have everything that they're expecting, which means all fines are paid, all dues are paid, all levies are paid, all sanctions are paid, all colors are turned in, hats, shoes, T-shirts, toothbrushes, anything with the club's logo and emblem on them. And when that club signs off and says, we have all of our things, the patchover happens. Then you don't have to worry about some group of nomads rolling down with shotguns looking at you crazy like you engineered some kind of backdoor thing to get their colors from them and not turn in all of their things. It's crazy. But that's what happens. Patchovers can be, they're political. They're not always a thing where people are having a great time. Sometimes they're terse. And you've got to be able to withstand that. Bank accounts and things like that have to be straightened out. Rules have to be put. This is all negotiation stuff. And the reason that a motorcycle club is not happy when it patches over is because it did not negotiate well. And the club it was patching into did not negotiate well either. Things were not explained. I can't give you a step-by-step cookie cutter because every club is going to be different. But things you have to watch out for are personalities, riding expectations. We're a riding club. We're a riding club. We ride coast to coast. And we get down. If you're not a riding club and you don't ride coast to coast, then you won't do well with us. So we get you into our motorcycle club and you're not a riding club. And that can be a problem. So these kinds of things need to be worked out in advance. So I wanted to take a few minutes to tell you about that. And now, as you can see, the rain is coming in. And you might hear that in the background, and I apologize for that. I am probably 1 week away from my new studio where we don't have to put up with this kind of crap. But for now, unfortunately, when it rains, it sounds like cats on a hot tin roof here. So anyway, I just wanted to put those things out about patchovers so that you could have a good idea of what was going on and kind of talk to the guy who sent me that message. Gerard, appreciate you. Hope this helps. If you need some more information, please contact me at blackdragon@blacksabbathmc.com or on my Facebook page, Black Dragon Biker Prez. And also, we want you to make sure to check us out on YouTube, Black Dragon Biker TV. And on Black Dragon Biker TV, we have the Black Dragon Biker News Network, Biker News you can trust. My books are available to you on Amazon and Kindle. Amazon in the printed paperback version and Kindle for your ebook. Prospects Bible, #1 bestseller. Over 50 motorcycle clubs throughout the world use Prospects Bible to train their prospects. Over 50 motorcycle clubs across the world require their prospects to read Prospects Bible before they can cross over and become full patch brothers. So we're excited about that and excited to know that. You can get Prospects Bible for women's motorcycle clubs, and the motorcycle club's public relations officer's Bible, and the Sergeant at Arms Bible, all from Amazon and Kindle. Look for this broadcast on Mondays and Fridays. We're on everything. Stitcher, soon to be on iHeartRadio. We're on Spotify. We're on Spreaker. We're on, let's see, did I say Stitcher? I think I said Stitcher. And we're also on iTunes, and we're on SoundCloud. So these are all the places that you can get this podcast, and we hope that you listen for it. Fridays and Mondays. And then also on Saturday, we are doing a broadcast over on Insane Throttle with the Motorcycle Madhouse, and you can get them at HarleyLiberty.com, and you can also get Insane Throttle on Spreaker and on iHeartRadio and on iTunes and on Stitcher and on Spotify and all those places as well. We want to thank you so much for tuning in, and we want to know what your 2 cents is, what you have to say about this, your comments. Please like this and share it. Like my page, share my page at Black Dragon Biker TV. That helps us out. You can also help us out by considering becoming a Patreon member at our Patreon channel, which is Black Dragon National President on Patreon. And you know me, Black Dragon. I was the national president of the Mighty Black Sabbath Motorcycle Club Nation from 2010 till 2018. It was a great run, and I used those experiences to talk to you guys about the things that make motorcycle clubs do great things. As always, I love to have you on and listening, and thanks for spending so much time with me. That's my 2 cents. Thanks for tuning in. And you know, we're working on health in this 20th century kind of thing here. We're trying to be more healthy, more health wise, more health conscious. We wanna live a long time. We want to live as long as humanly possible, if we possibly can. So thanks for tuning in, and get skinny.